Hello everybody, this will be my breakdown for episode 6, the season finale of Hawkeye. So let's get started. And whoa, this episode, I love this episode so much. It was incredible from beginning to end. It was just so many things happening in this episode. It's just the Christmas thing, the action, the performance, a lot of things. I love it. I really did. And this series, I'll say it start. The beginning was slow. The two first episodes were okay for me. They were not bad, but I didn't love them. Then the couple next episode, I really liked them. The episode 5 was great, and now episode 6, the finale, it really delivers. It was just whoa, and that's my expression of this episode. So let's get to it. Now, in this episode, we get a lot of action from the different scenes and with different characters, and I love all of them. I love the Kate Bishop versus Yelena versus Hawkeye, Kate Bishop versus Kingpin. Jack outside fighting the Tracksuit, also Kate and Clint fighting the Tracksuit Mafia. It was just Echo and versus Cassie. It was great. It was really, really good to see that. I'll say that in specific, this episode it had more action than the Falcon and the Winter Soldier in terms of this episode and specifically. So I really love the action here. So let's move on to Rogers the Musical. Like we seen the first episodes, we seen the parts of Rogers the Musical. So they put the whole musical as an end credit scene. So that was nice. And I mean, it was nice to see. I didn't love them, but I just expecting something else in terms of the end credit scenes. But uh, I think the musical is good. It's just it didn't really do it for me. I didn't really love the musical, so that's me. Now let's talk about the big thing here. Kingpin. So this was nice, and it's Kevin Feige. He's so brilliant at this. So in the same week, no, and so last week when a little spoilers for Spider-Man No Way Home if you haven't seen it. So Daredevil shows up in that movie, Mac Murdock and specifically. So he's officially in the NCU, and the next week, this week, now in the season finale of Hawkeye, we get Vincent D'Onofrio, Kingpin, enters the NCU. It was just so great to see him here. Now I have a problem with this, and I'm really concerned because he has outfits in this episode that are straight off the comics, and I love that. I really love that, but it's cool to do that, but it just didn't work here because it was just so it didn't fit, and they watered down this character a lot. He's very different from the Netflix series, and I can understand that because this is Disney, so there's not going to be this violence or brutality to his performance and the character as he was in the Daredevil series on Netflix. But in that series, he looks successful and modern. He really looked like a real person and not so much like a comic book character. And in this episode, he was invulnerable, yeah, that's for sure, and he doesn't have superpowers, and he was bouncing around all over, and it was sad to see Disney do that to this character. It's such a iconic character, and Vincent D'Onofrio, his presence that he brings with his performance is just so great. And I'll say that the NCU still has a villain problem. Sometimes they have excellent villains, great villains, but most of the time they don't. So there's a villain problem, and this is an example of that. So it was. I'm really concerned now what they're going to do with Daredevil now that he's officially in the NCU, and how Disney is going to handle these characters now, because it's just. And one more thing, he he lose Kingpin. He lose a lot in this episode, and Kingpin is a character that rarely he lose, and that's what made him dangerous because he's constantly always ahead of everybody. So that's one thing. Now echoing Kingpin. Now we see that she shoot Kingpin, but we didn't actually see that. So I'm guessing he's alive and he's coming back. I think he's going to be the main villain in the Echo series. So the other thing we get it was not like a really solid confirmation that Laura Bottom is Mockingbird because of the watch, but the watch, the back of the watch has the Chill logo and it says 19, so the agent 19, and that's, I believe that's from the comics. That's from Bobby Moss and AKA Mockingbird. So I think yes, she is basically Mockingbird. But it was, I would have preferred really more solid confirmation, but that's alright. Now I like the by the end though the Kate and Clint, and they are deciding what one name to use for Kate. Now they are officially partners, and in the comments, both of them they use the name of Hawkeye. So I'm curious to see how they're going because Clint said that yes, I have an idea now. So maybe they're going to do that. The both of them were a Hawkeye. Also, it's nice, but it also could be a little confusing. So we will see. Now I love the Christmas theme throughout this whole episode. I mean, the tree, the owl in the tree, it was just really wonderful to see. And so many reference to other movies, to Elf, and a little bit of Die Hard in this episode. It was just so Christmas, and I like that. And it's the holiday season. It was just a great idea to launch this series throughout this holiday season. Now, director Rhys Thomas, he did a excellent job here in terms of directing the action of the. I love that. Especially, I love the Yelena versus Kay. In terms they go to the elevator and stop joking around and all of that, and then they go out of the elevator and they're fighting throughout the office in the building, and the way the camera was moving and they shot that scene, it was a very good angle and I appreciate it. Very interesting. And let's talk about the trick arrows. Now, the trick arrows were amazing, and we see some of the arrows come back from the previous episode. I believe the concussion arrow is called. We also see the magnetized arrow. That was really clever. They took out uh, everything, and also the pin arrow. Now that was funny because Kate, yeah, used the pin arrow to hit the Tracksuit truck, and then she asked Clint, uh, what we do now? How they grow up now? They are small, and he said he doesn't know what to do now. He has to ask Scotland Ant-Man. That was pretty funny. I really like that. And then the owl took the small truck, and that basically is going to eat them. So, well, that was something dark there. Now, let's talk about Jack. Finally, we see Jack in action using the sword, and I think that he could join the leopards. I think he could be more of a leader to them. But it was just finally, and I knew it because we see him in early in this episode with the sword here, and he has the sword. He is going to use it, and he finally did. But this character is just starting. It's so much to do with this character. Now, let's talk about some awesome stuff. Well, the emotional arcs in this episode. Now, Florence Pugh and Jeremy Renner, so great performance here, especially where Jeremy Renner he whistle, and that secret whistle was the thing that convinced Yelena that Clint was not only a close and trusted friend of Natasha, but it reminded her that was always putting others before herself, starting with Yelena. So he would have sacrificed herself not only to save the world, but to save Yelena. Natasha Berman, just what a loss. Now, I really like the Yelena and Kate friendship throughout this episode, and it's just the dynamic between those two are just excellent. It was so well, and I just want to see more of that. And I hope so in coming up Disney Plus shows, or I prefer that in the movie, so we'll see. But I would like that. Now, Kate's mother. So, I like that this is what children do. Get mothers arrested on Christmas, and she did horrible things, and she said I did this all for you, Kate, for to protect you and all of that. Now, this series needs a season 2. And Vera Familia, who plays Kate's mother, Eleanor, can become Madame Mass. Because otherwise, this is a total waste of Vera Familia. She's so talented. So she needs to come back. Now, let's talk about Echo and Cassie. And the, all this time, Cassie was just flirting with the boss daughter. She just wanted to go up the ranks in the criminal empire. So it was he didn't become the clown like the comics. So, eh. But Echo looks fantastic in this episode, and her action was so good to see. I really like her hairstyle in this episode a lot. Now, let's talk about Clint. Jeremy Renner, he's so fantastic, and he really brings the chop throughout this episode and throughout the whole series. And I like that he seriously is acknowledged Kate as someone who is very skilled and could someday be at his level, and that he's willing to train her. So that was very nice to see. Now, I really love when he came home for Christmas and brought the presents and new family members. And that's where you realize that the, the big decision that Natasha make her sacrifice, because Clint, he really helps people a lot, and he turns bad people into good people, and it really is an interesting thing about this character. Now, I'll say that this series is great. I really enjoy it a lot, especially throughout this season for Christmas when the Christmas theme and all of that. It was just so great to see. I hope we get a season two. There's just so many things to follow up. We Clean and Cake, also Madam Mass, Eleanor Bishop, and Jack. They can do a lot. And this series, Hawkeye, it really works as a series, and you have more time to develop the characters and the stories. So I really like that. So Merry Christmas to you all. Now, so yes, that's my breakdown for episode 6 of Hawkeye, the season finale. So if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, consider subscribe to the channel, it helps a lot. And thank you for watching. Bye bye.